Okay, today, you guys, we are going to do a lesson with our story for the week, which is the Shoemaker and the Elves. And we are going to read and talk about some questions about characters. And we're going to use evidence from the text to answer these questions about the characters in the Shoemaker and the Elves. So our first question is, how can you tell the shoemaker is excited? So I am not going to reread the entire text to you. So if you need to revisit the text, you're going to need to listen to it or read it on your own before we start this, okay? So we're just going to go to page 4 in the text, and we are going to read that part and see if we can find some evidence that tells us why the shoemaker is excited. Okay, as I read this page, I'm looking for text clues that show the shoemaker is excited. The author doesn't directly say that, but it gives us evidence. So let's read. The next morning, the shoemaker was amazed to find a perfect pair of shoes on his workbench. He called his wife. "Wife, wife, come quick and see. Look what someone made for me." So on this page, there's one word here. It said he was amazed. And that word kind of indicates that you would be excited. It also has what he was saying. And the character's words in a story can tell us how a character is feeling. It says, "Wife, wife, come quick and see. Look what someone made for me." And he sounds excited. There's exclamation points in the sentence. It's rhyming. We can also tell evidence in the pictures because he's smiling. Okay, so I'm going to use that evidence to answer the question now on my worksheet. So let's move this out of the way. How can you tell the shoemaker is excited? So I'm going to say, it said he was amazed. He called his wife to tell her. And in the pictures, his face looks happy. Okay, all of that is evidence that shows us how he is excited. Okay, our next question is, how can you tell the shoemaker is curious? And curious means that he wants to know something, he's wondering about something. So to answer this question, we're going to look at page 10 in our text. So let's get our book back over here. And go to page 10. And let's read and look for evidence about him being curious. One night, the shoemaker said to his wife, "We must find out who is making the shoes." So after supper, they hid in a cupboard in the back of the store and watched. Just as the clock struck 12, 2 tiny elves danced into the room. They hopped up on the bench and began to work. So I found some evidence that shows me that the shoemaker is curious. Can you find some? Go ahead and reread page 4 on your own and look at the picture. Think about what evidence shows that he is curious. So try to answer this question. The text evidence that shows the shoemaker is curious is, I'm going to say, the evidence is, he says, and I'm going to take his words right from the text right here. It says, We must find out who is making the shoes. That shows me he's curious. The evidence is he says, we must find who made these shoes. Okay. There's also evidence in the picture. If you have space, you can add another evidence telling me, or another sentence, excuse me, telling me the evidence in the picture that shows he's curious. We have one more text evidence question. How can you tell the shoemaker is grateful? We know all about gratitude from our Choose Love learning. To find the evidence for this question, we're going to turn to page 12 in our text. Let's read together. As daybreak came, the elves danced out the window and disappeared. How can we ever thank them, wondered the shoemaker. We have made a lot of money because of them. Let's make them some new clothes, said his wife. So again, we're looking for evidence that shows the shoemaker is grateful. What does he say? What does he do? And what is in the picture? Okay, this one I'm not going to do for you. I'm going to give you a sentence starter, you guys, and I want you to write your own ideas of what evidence in the text shows that the shoemaker is grateful, that he's thankful for what the elves have done. Okay, you can start your sentence by saying the evidence is, okay? Think about what the character does, what the character says, and what the pictures show. And then last, you're just gonna make a connection to the characters in the text, and you're gonna write a sentence telling when you were grateful, curious, or excited. You don't have to do all three. You can if you want, extra credit. Just pick one. I'm gonna say, let's see, I was excited when we had crazy hair day in Zoom. That was super exciting for me. So write your own sentence about when you were excited, grateful, or curious, and then answer that question all on your own, okay? I'll see you next time.